What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. 400 Legend time again. This time we have something really interesting. We have a CEB muzzleloader bullet that is going to be Delete Sabo entered into the 400 Legend category. We're going to load this up into some spent brass, put the proper formula behind it of powder, and launch it. This is a CEB Maximus bullet, and it's a 45 caliber with the Sabo muzzleloader round, but once we discard the Sabo, it becomes .400 or 40 caliber. So that's really easy to load into 400 Legend. 165 grain monolithic copper, so it's a hollow point, but it's solid copper. Those little tiny cuts help it to expand and turn into what the picture is going to show you. And that's going to curl back those petals that I believe are going to eventually break off like it shows in the picture, leaving a very devastating wound channel behind. We're going to be firing that out of our very cool custom-made 400 Legend upper that T2 Armory put together for us. They're not selling them, so don't call them and ask them for that or anything. It's just for this project of testing different ammunition and the Winchester ammunition to see what 400 Legend's all about. So as always, thank you to T2 Armory for that. As far as what are we doing with testing with the 400 Legend, well, Winchester only has one offering right now, a 215 grain Spire Point bullet for hunting, of course, and that's it. No other ammo companies have anything out right now. As far as the making of this video, right now, there are no complete rifles available right now. One company is making barrels for Thompson Center Encores, but no complete rifles. This is really the only one, other than one hunting video that Winchester put out on YouTube. So we're doing the testing for everybody to see what we could get out of this barrel. This is going to be a hand loader's dream, I think. People who like 10mm, 40 caliber type of stuff like that. This is a super 40 caliber, a super 10mm. This thing really pushes 40 caliber projectiles at super speeds. The problem is that a lot of those projectiles are designed for handguns and they just do the grenading effect upon impact. So to get things that are meant to go at those velocities, we're going to have to search around, and certain companies might have to come out with other offerings not previously rated for those type of velocities. Let's see how these muzzleloader bullets work. I think they're going to be pretty cool no matter what they do. They're going to have a lot of kinetic impact. That's the thing about this round, is no matter what, the energy is there. You cannot avoid foot-pounds, as you're going to see if we get good numbers out of the chronograph. So I'll shut up and I'll start shooting. As camera guy pointed out, I'm not totally ready to shut up yet. I still have to explain what I'm doing in the gel. So these are 20-inch shooter's blocks. They're not 16-inch FBI blocks like we're usually used to seeing in these tests. So 20 inches, 20 inches, 40 inches total going through this chronograph. We're going to capture the velocity right before the bullet enters the gel. Copper hollow point CEB Maximus going down range. Heck yeah. 2783. If that's true, that is smoking. Now I do tend to believe the chronograph because Winchester's 215 grain power point is going at, out of the muzzle, 2250. That's a 215 grain. This was a 165 grain. So I do believe the chronograph, and boy, that is a round right there. You saw the slow motion. That impact is crazy. What you saw in there was something called sonoluminescence. A lot of people ask me about that in the comments. Now, I'm not a scientist or anything. That sounds like a really big word. It's kind of too big for me. See, I can't even talk. But sonoluminescence, that's that bright flash you see in the block. Basically what that is that's a collapsing, you get the huge air bubble, and then I believe what happens is when it collapses back down on itself, it's pressure, and it just does this eruption of fire thing. That's really scientific, I know, but that's what it is. Look it up and you'll learn a lot more. So we saw that, and when I see that in a round, I always think, wow, that's really cool. But boy, that's a lot of foot-pounds of energy. That's a lot of energy transfer being delivered. Anytime that goes on inside a body cavity, I think there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a little disruption of bodily function, and that's what we're looking for out of hunting cartridges or self-defense cartridges, which this could be both. So you saw it under the gel. Now let's take a closer look. We have a massive, first we have this black streak here of just absolutely smoking going on. So that's that part of that whole fire thing shooting back out. That's a lot of heat being generated. So we have this major rupture, permanent wound cavity. There was a big temporary wound cavity, and that continues all the way down to right about here. And according to the dirty tape, that continues on pretty heavily from about 16 or up until about 16 inches. It still continues on the lighter side all the way through this block, which, like I said, is a 20-inch block. Let me move it where it's supposed to be. So, like I said, about 16 inches with the major stuff, and then 20 inches all the way through. You see a couple pellets or petals left that peeled back. You see going into the gel block, there's still a couple more petals going here, going into number 2. But now the streak, it settles down to being basically the core of that projectile, going all the way here to about 35 inches, and it's really poking out of the side, wanting to come out. I'm sure that we could just basically rip it out. So boom, there it is. It lost its petals for sure. And we'll get a weight here on the corner of the screen for you. But completely lost everything, just like the picture showed it would do. And not a whole lot left of it, but enough to do some serious damage. That's a good wound channel, like I said, all the way to 35 inches. Let's look at it from the top down. That black streaking, big permanent wound cavity with some black stuff in there too, so you know that was fiery. Petal loss, petal loss, petal loss, and then that base just keeps traveling down to where we just extracted it. We have had some impressive ones so far out of the 400 Legend, and the factory loaded PowerPoint is impressive. I do like this round, but I'll say that this one right here, this one creamed the factory round. Hand loaders, like I said, some people make fun of hand loaders, but we do have the option of putting whatever we want in the tip of these brass things. So I don't know what you think, but I think that that's going to be an amazing deer hunting cartridge. A lot of people are going to say it's overkill, but I do want to try it this fall. My problem is that I can only take so many deer, and I've got so many different choices of projectiles to choose from in so many different calibers. 400 Legend's not the only one. 500 Bushwhacker's definitely going to have to take a deer this year. But when it comes to reloading this stuff, we have much more to come. So that was the 165 grain Maximus. That's that one right there. We also have a 240 grain Maximus that we got loaded up right here. We also have a Hornady SST. So as you can see, we have a tray full of loaded ammunition here that we have to do a lot of testing on. So I hope you enjoyed this testing. We hope to see you back for that testing. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any cool videos. Thank you for watching this video, and until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.